Hey booktube, Chelsea the Reading Outlaw here to finally make a video I have been waiting like over a month to finally make. First I had to wait for it to be the new year, then I had to wait for a bunch of back-ordered stuff to get here, but I'm so excited. Claire at Claire Russo has already made a video kind of talking about this idea and her plan on how to execute it. So I will leave a link to her video down below. Go check that out if you want to see kind of how she's doing this idea. But long story short, basically somebody that I follow on Twitter kind of put out the idea of creating a wearable tracker of some sort. They were going to track the books they read and turn it into something like a blanket or a scarf or something like that. And I saw that idea. My brain immediately went off. I retweeted it. I tagged a bunch of people who I know who read books and are like fiber people, and we're gonna do it. There's a bunch of us who are gonna make basically book scarves, or as in the case of Claire, a book blanket, just some kind of bookish yarn based thing that's gonna track their reading. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing several different things. I have a different color for every genre. I have a different stitch pattern for every format, and then I'm doing the stripes depending on how long the book is. So for every 50 pages of a book, there's going to be another 2 stripes. So where's my thing? So as you can see, like the very, very first book I read this year was a novella, and it was an Alyssa Cole novella, and that's these 2. It was only like 110 pages, so that's just these 2 little lines down here. And then the next book I read was a sci-fi romance, and it was like 400 pages. So that's this thing right here. You can also see I'm doing just a basic stockinette stitch for all of my ebooks, which is knit on one side, purl on the other. And that is going to be a lot of my scarf because I read a lot of ebooks. And then I'm also doing this like seed stitch, which, come on, I wonder if it's going to focus like I want it to. This green textured stitch right here is for my audiobooks. This was for my reread of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And then this is for the nonfiction book Real Queer America that I finished in eGalley of. So I can tell you what each of these 4 stripes are for so far. I won't guarantee that I'm going to memorize like the whole scarf, but it's really, really awesome. As you can see, it's about yay wide. It's curling up. But I'm just really, really excited. It's going to be very, very long. It's going to be very Doctor Who-ian with the colors. So speaking of colors, let's go ahead and do that because that was obviously like my most favorite part. So basically I had to look at the overall collection of what I read, and it breaks down into romance, sci-fi, fantasy, nonfiction, and like a miscellaneous category. And within that, there are kind of like some subcategories. Basically, I read a lot of different kinds of romance. So this year, I'm hoping to read a lot more SFF romance, and I picked up this like burgundy. It's showing up more red on the camera than it is in real life. It's a little bit more purpley, but this really nice like burgundy color. All of this is Knit Picks Swish yarn. But yeah, and this is the Hollyberry color. And then for contemporary romance, I picked something that's a little bit less, basically. And so this is like a nice bright pink color. It's the Rouge colorway from Knit Picks, and I really, really like it. It kind of matches this shirt that I'm wearing right now, actually. As you can see, matches my lipstick also. I really, really like this color, and I read a lot of contemporary romance, so I'm looking forward to that. And then for historical romance, I have this nice like ballet pink. It's the carnation color, and I just really like the like range of pinks. Like obviously, yes, it's cliche, but I really like the like associating pink with like hearts and flowers and romance and all of those things, and it's gender binary and it's nonsense, but I really like it, and it's my scarf, leave me alone. So I'm really, really excited for all of these colors. And then I thought, when I thought sci-fi, I thought space, obviously, but I didn't want to do like anything too dark. So I went with purples, and Knit Picks only has so many different purples you can choose. So I went with this dark purple, which is an amethyst color for adult science fiction. And then I went with this really nice light sugar plum, which is almost like a lavender, and that's going to be for my young adult fiction. You'll see that a bulk of the rest of it from here on out is divided into adult and young adult. I don't have as many like inner genre breakdowns as I do for romance. And then for science or for fantasy, I always think like elves, trees, greens, nature colors, things of that, like general nature. My yarn's all twisted up. So I went with this really nice marina color, which is showing up a little bit bluer on camera, but it's this nice, like almost jadey aquamarine blue green color, and then this nice really bright pea pod color for adult and young adult fantasy. You saw this in my scarf already for my Harry Potter reread. And so I really, really like those 2 together. And then the last 2, I read a lot of nonfiction, and it is just all over the board. I would have had like even more of a gajillion colors if I tried to break down nonfiction. So I just went with this blue that I really like. This is the Gulfstream blue from Knit Picks, and it's just a really bright, vibrant, almost like cobalty blue. And then for like miscellaneous stuff, like I just finished a tiny little lit fic book, or if you saw my library haul for some other lit fic or mysteries or whatever the like miscellaneous category is, I have this really, really pretty like mustardy yellow. It's called Honey, which I think is a little misleading because I think this is a little bit, like I said, almost more mustardy than anything else, but I really, really love it. And I really think that like within all these other colors, it'll be a really nice like pop for those occasional miscellaneous books that I'm reading. So yeah, that's my plan for my book scarf. I am just kind of doing it as I go along. I knew I would have to keep on top of it. If I tried to wait for every month or whatever, I just fall hopelessly behind. So it's just one of those things where as I'm in between other projects or first thing in the morning or late at night, it's something I can pick up and just kind of do really easily. I have one more stripe that I have to go do now, and then I'm all caught up. I probably will go through at the end of every month and like weave in the ends, because as you can see with this many color changes, there are a lot of them, and so I want to get rid of them as I go. So that's probably the plan. But yeah, otherwise that's my book scarf. Let me know if you like the idea, if maybe this has inspired you to do it yourself. If you have other really cool ways of tracking. I really like looking at like creative like bullet journal spreads or other just really creative ways that people have of tracking their reading or the movies they see or the plants they grow or like what have you. Let me know down below because I love to see what you guys are up to. Otherwise, come find me on the internet so we can talk books. And until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and have happy reading.